It's 226, Leland Live, Michelson Laser Vision. Next up here on the show. I get asked a lot, would you do it again? I did LASIK about 7 years ago, and it was just, I mean, nothing short. It's not an exaggeration. It's not really hyperbole. Yes, I'm making a sales pitch for the Michelson family, but it was miraculous. I mean, I had heard about it. I sort of poo-pooed it from friends that had it done, thinking they were just justifying something they went and did. But that wasn't the case. It changed everything. And one of the questions I get is, would you do it again? And the answer is without hesitation. And there may come a time I have to do that as I'm aging. Depends on the stage of life. I've got friends that did it when they were much younger, and they haven't had any. I mean, their eye strength has stayed the same for 20 years. It's been 7 years for me. Last time we checked, I was 2015. But if I had to do it again, I would do it in a heartbeat. It was just everything to help me see better and enjoy life without having to deal with glasses or contacts. If you're in glasses or contacts, look, just go and find out if it's something that is good for you. Find out if it's something that will work in your case. And if so, give them a shot. They're the best. It's a legendary practice. Brought the first laser to Alabama and are still at it. Second generation now with Dr. Jennifer, Dr. Mark, a pioneer in the field, and they've got the latest technology, that Contura system that can map out your eyeball and make it look good. It is Michelson Laser Vision, downtown UAB Highlands. Easy in and out of that facility too. Don't fear it just because we're talking about a UAB hospital. This has got its own parking lot, front door, easy to do. MichelsonLaserVision.com. Okay, back to the earthquake for just a second. During the break, I was trying to get some updates, see what else people could report about it. And I saw some of the reporting is showing that quake was at a 6.4. So, as you heard me explain just a little while ago, now other reports are 6.1. There's a huge difference, believe it or not. Again, as you go up on that scale, it gets more stronger with each level, not in an even way. So a 6.3 is can have a deeper depth and a larger range, of course, than a 6.1. But we'll get some clarity on it. That's just kind of technical, but it could point to any other activity that could pop up in the Gulf this afternoon. So we're watching. We're watching all of it. Okay. See what else do we want to get into? The shark attack. Don't know much more about that. That's enough for right now. 545. Oh my gosh, I didn't know what the controversy was. Have you seen what these dumb people at HelloFresh have done?
No.
I know it's Pride Month, but this is the most disgusting thing. This may be the worst intentional PR thing I've ever seen.
Worse than J.C. Penney.
Dude, you talking about ship my bed? No, that was Kmart. Now, who was it that said, I ship my bed? I ship my pants.
Oh, yeah.
No, this is, well, it's involving the same thing, though, in a way. I'll talk about it on the other side. You're going to vomit, so get ready. Back in a minute. All right, y'all. 233, leading live talking to M5 Alabama Dental Associates. Next sponsor up here on the show, and another one of our sponsors that you have to have in your life. We all need a dentist at some point. We all need to be going, and we all go to Alabama Dental. At least me and AJ and our families. Dr. Brian, not only is he my dentist, he's my friend and just a great guy all around. He's kind of a clown. We cut up a lot, but this man and his team and the three other dentists in that practice are just dedicated to having a comprehensive practice. What that means is a division of specialties. There's four of them, four different specialties. Because they have four dentists, they came up with an idea a while back to spread their schedules out and work the extended hours, sort of rotate that around so they can keep the place open late. So they're open until taking patients up until 7. And then on Saturdays, I guess some parts of the year, maybe there's not as much demand and they may not be open on a Saturday if they don't have people coming in. But they've been busy and expanded, added a new dentist since they've been on this show over the years. I guess they've been with us probably a decade now. It's Alabama Dental. Y'all go see my dentist. If you just need a change, more flexibility, or an in-house place that has all the equipment and the specialty expertise to solve all these unique problems, it's alabamadental.com. alabamadental.com. Pretty easy. Man, I keep seeing earthquake posts, but nothing new. Most of the seismic readings that we're getting right now seem to stay in the 6.1 range. Still no damage reports. And unless there's other activity, we'll have to move on to other stories. We'll wait and see if there's anything else, any kind of video that comes out. Sometimes if you can feel, if they had the lights shaking in a TV studio in St. Pete, Florida, I got to think that's 300 miles away. It may not be quite that far, but it's a long way from Western Cuba. That was a pretty big quake. Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, I'm looking at the distance between Tampa and St. Pete, and that is longer than the whole Florida peninsula. So that's a long way off. And I don't know that any of our friends on the Gulf Coast felt it or there were any reports from the Gulf Coast. If we see anything about that, we'll let you know too. Let me see what else we can do. Let me go back to the Carmelo Anthony thing. That seems to be an event in motion. Here's a recap of what's going on inside the courtroom. Again, they're complete and total bigoted idiots on the outside of the courtroom. I don't care about those people. They're not interesting. They're not smart. They don't understand the case. They don't understand the law. They are the stupidest people in our country. They just are. And they're out there for attention. What's happening in the courtroom is the most important thing. And the prosecution rested the case, I guess it was last Friday or Saturday. That's how it goes. Prosecution's got to present their best evidence. Their witnesses, according to the reporters that are in there, were pretty consistent about the events. In Texas law, you can't be the instigator of an incident. It's a stand your ground state, so you don't have an obligation to flee, but you can't use lethal force because somebody touched you or put their hands on you, especially if you brought a knife to an incident and instigated the incident. So the question came down to, there's no trespassing under a tent, but the witnesses went on to say that the kid was asked 15 different times, please leave. This is our track space. And he dared them to do anything about it. He was provocative, used foul language, called them a bunch of names I can't say on the radio, and dared them to do anything because he had his hand in his bag. He knew he had that knife. And there's no way that's a self-defense case. This is never, in a million years, that's not how self-defense works. And a kid is dead. So the case is rolling along, and this is where things got weird today, and it's just before the show started. In fact, AJ and I were at lunch, and we were talking about different things we would talk about during the show. I said, unless there's something big in the Anthony case, I'm not going to cover it until we get a verdict. And then this happened. So the defense attorney had a witness on the stand, and one of the oldest, it was kind of stunning, especially I've had a background in covering these trials, got a lot of experience in there listening to how cases are put on. And the oldest axiom in all of the law, if you're in a court setting, is you don't ask a question that you don't know the answer to. So this defense attorney put one of his own witnesses on the stand. Most of the witnesses they were putting up were about the mood of the track and what was going on. One of the witnesses completely fell apart because he claimed Carmelo Anthony was surrounded, and they played the video, And the kid went, well, I guess he wasn't surrounded. Then the kid said, he asked him what he saw. And then the prosecution got up and said, where were you standing again? They played the video again. The kid had his back to the tent when it happened. He couldn't have seen anything. So the witnesses have lost credibility. And one of them just finally flipped on the defense and said, no, he was at fault. He shouldn't have started it. He started the whole thing. Anthony, that is. So at that point, they recessed for lunch, and I think the defense knows their case is done. That's the best witness they had, and the dumbass defense attorney should not have put him in the position to answer that question, and he did it, and it blew the whole case up right there in front of the jury. So now you would suspect that his attorneys, they're not going to put this kid on the stand. There's no way they do that. You would suspect they're trying to cut a deal right now. That case is dead. The jury's about to drop the hammer on Carmelo Anthony, and because that's what the facts of the case showed in the courtroom. Didn't matter about your emotions. Nobody, not a single witness brought up race as part of the confrontation between the two. Most of the witnesses against Anthony were other black students that were on the side of the kid that was killed, because it was team school versus school. It wasn't any of this racial stuff that has been drug into this case. But it happens in so many cases, and that's where people get stupid and think somehow the law ought to be changed based on your emotions about a case, and that's just not the case. It's just not the case. So I don't know what's going to happen with it this afternoon, but there's always this potential that it becomes a flashpoint case. I don't see that, and it's too cut and dry. Even if you're being absurd, you can't make a self-defense claim if you know the facts of this. You just can't do it. It's not there. This kid made look. I do have some sympathy for the fact that this kid was just a poor decision maker, had a terrible upbringing probably. By the way, the reason he's got a defense attorney that's so stupid as to do this in the middle of a case is because there was a GoFundMe fund set up for this kid. The family took in excess of $600,000, according to published reports. They blew through the money, and then he claimed indigent status, wound up getting a public defender instead of hiring an attorney with the money. So they took the free lawyer. Not that some public defenders are incredible, but they are also overworked, overwhelmed, and this is probably one of 100 cases, almost no-win cases these public defenders have to get on their plate. And I don't know how well he was prepped to put this defense on. Maybe he'll get an appellate attorney that can challenge that part of the trial, but that's the update as it's being reported this afternoon. I'll be glad when this one's over and we move on to more important things in the country. Ron is in Birmingham. He's calling about this case. What's up, Ron?
Hey, guys. Hey, I was reading an article in the New York Post. They were debunking some of on this trial, and everybody's screaming racism because there's no black jurors. But come to find out, the reason there's no black jurors is because every black juror was asked the question if they would take race into the verdict, they said yes.
And that's how you vet jurors.
They had to take them off.
Yeah, that was just who they pulled in. The jury pools are usually pulled at random, and then people immediately try to get out of it. Now, maybe these guys were just all trying to get out of it. If I was black and I didn't want to be on the jury, that's what I would say. But and it's not some lily white Grand Ole Opry jury either. They're people with various ethnicities on this jury. There's just no black jurors.
But you know where this is going, right?
Where what is going?
The moment that he's convicted, they're going to cry racism because there's no black jurors on the jury.
Well, of course,
it's coming.
But I mean, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Look, it really doesn't matter.
If race enters our court systems, we are doomed.
It's already there.
We cannot look at it as black and white. It needs to be the facts, the evidence, and unless you can be, bipartisan on that, you don't need to be anywhere near a jury. Because you're going to put somebody or let somebody off just because of their color, we're doomed. We are doomed.
That happened in 1994 with the OJ case.
Oh, with
That's
OJ?
not the only time.
Yeah, I saw with the lady said that.
Yeah, she admitted it. It was payback. And so look, it's called jury nullification. It's actually a thing that's taught in law school, and it's not just about race, but race can be used. Jury nullification is, with the standard being, you got to have 12 unanimous jurors. You can't have one juror that doesn't vote guilty to be able to convict somebody. We set that standard so that the government can't just run people over and put them in jail without a compelling case. You've got to convince beyond they're two kind of general standards, beyond a reasonable doubt, and it has to be unanimous. Okay. So it's a high bar for any prosecution. You got to have your case tight. If you can create some doubt on the jury or get one or two jurors to hold out and poison the whole jury pool, you can't get a conviction. You're going to wind up with an acquittal or a hung jury. That's called jury nullification. But then you put race in there and you put people that are just going to stick with the tribe, no matter what their tribe is, white, black, whatever, and they're never going to convict. They're not going to listen to the law. They're not going to apply what the judge says. Then you've killed the whole case. You've killed the jury. And that's an intentional thing that is done when juries are struck in some cases. This time, they managed to keep that out of the jury pool.
Well, BLM is already outside of the courthouse.
Who cares?
Stirring.
They're the corrupt, bankrupt bunch of people anyway.
Oh, yes, they are. And that's not Minnesota. That's not New York. I don't think you're going to have the rioting and burning in Texas. I think they'll call that pretty quick.
Well, when you define the word controversy, in my estimation, and there's probably a legal definition or a literal definition for controversy, but it was when there are two good arguable sides and there's a clear division of thought over something. This isn't one of those cases. Yes, there's people have injected race into it. This was just a heat of the moment murder that happened in a place that never should have happened. And that's about it. The kid already admitted it. There's no doubt about his guilt. The question is whether or not he can potentially get off with this defense. And the defense attorney himself seems to have shifted strategy based on the fact that they don't have any witnesses that can help him on that. Yeah. It's just a weak case.
I think he cuts a deal. I'm pretty sure he'll cut a deal.
That's what we think's happening right now, and that'd be smart. If his attorneys are being smart, they're going to try to get him less time served or get him out of the eligibility for the death penalty.
I'm not sure what the laws are in Texas, but on this case, 25 to life would probably be standard? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, guys. Great show. See you.
Thanks, man. All states are different. And in some states, like in Alabama, if you're going to get a capital case, I don't think this is a capital case. I could be wrong.
No, they said, according to reports I'm seeing from some of the local stations, it says if he's convicted, he faces between 5 and 99 years in prison.
Yeah. So in a capital case where you're going to execute somebody, you've generally got to have some other circumstances, like the commission of another crime. Like if you kill somebody while you're also, say you're robbing a bank and then you shoot one of the witnesses, that's capital case. In some cases, if the age of the victim can immediately make it a capital case. Now, I don't think the victim here doesn't qualify under that in most
he's
states.
17 years old. So
usually it's under 16 in a lot of states. I don't know about Texas. And some people made the fact that the carrying the knife to a school event was a crime, and then he killed somebody with the knife, creating the capital. I don't think that's the case because this was only a 3-inch. I think it was a foldable knife, which is legally to carry in the state of Texas. So you don't have that predicate crime. Now, it's probably against school policy, and I don't know that there is a crime of having a knife on a football field. It's stupid, and the kid shouldn't have done it, but that's what got him in trouble in the first place. He decided to go up in there with a knife in his backpack and threaten people, and that cost him. It's going to cost him some time in the pokey.
So according to it, he faces murder charge and not a capital murder charge.
Right.
He will not face a death penalty or life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yep. So they've and I don't know what they plead down to from there if you're the prosecution. So think about the prosecutor for a minute. I can see what the defense attorney wants to do. You got no case. You just blew it in front of the jury. There's a little bit of a pause right now to figure out what the next move is. And, attorneys have a sequence they go through. If you're the defense attorney, every time when the prosecutor rests, you motion for dismissal. And I don't care what's been said to the judge or to the jury, the attorney's going to do that. That's being a good attorney. You say, they hadn't proved anything. I motion to you dismiss, and the judge goes, nope. And then they move on and put the defense case on. They did that in this case. Now they're at this point where the options are this: continue to call witnesses if they have any more that are going to blow up on them. Put Anthony on the stand to try to create some sympathy that he messed up, because he's already admitted it on camera. So maybe he could testify that in a heat of passion, he did it, whatever. They've seemed to have dropped this self-defense argument, which isn't there. And so now do you leave it in the hands of the jury if you're his defendants thinking you create some sympathy, or you cut a deal. If you're the prosecutor, think about this. There's a lot of publicity on this case. You want to drop the hammer on this nonsense. Our society's becoming violent. We can't put up with this kind of thuggery anymore. People have got to go back to being civil. This is an example case. You've got the case won. Do you cut a deal? And what's going on, but per the previous call, what's going on out in the streets of the courthouse should not factor into that whatsoever. If we start caving to mobs and anger in public sentiment to decide cases, we've lost the jury system. We're already losing our election system. We'll talk about California in a minute. That is the most bald-faced thing I've seen in years, where the world knows they're stealing an election. We're just watching them do it. I mean, we just watch it. It was mathematically provable that what's coming in out in California is not consistent with reality, but we're just watching them do it because it's California. We'll talk about that in a minute too. We've got to, y'all, we got to have these institutions, and as people, we have to have trust in them or the country falls apart. If we lose speech, if we lose our right to defend ourselves, if we lose our right to have a say at the election, and we can't trust juries anymore, or judges for that matter, we're done as a country. There's no way to settle our differences except for the ballot box or the jury box, but the bullet box. And then the next thing you know, we pull apart at the seams. We don't want that in this country. We've got to go back to establishing the credibility of these things and building trust among all of us that these systems are doing the best they can. Nothing is ever going to be perfect. We're humans. It's a human system full of humans. And there's always going to be elements of that in any system all over the world. But we can't lose that. We've sort of sat back, and clearly we've had controversial cases where people didn't like the outcome. That's the history of jurisprudence in all of human history, all the way back to the Bible, people disputing the outcomes of these things. But you got to try to do the best you can to have a system that metes out justice, not just for the accused, but for the victims, the people they kill, the people they've harmed. There needs to be justice on their side as well. All right, we'll do the quick break. Alan and company bringing you the show tonight. Boy, what a 180 when I start talking about nice things like giving somebody something beautiful for a special occasion or birthdays. And man, maybe it's too early to talk about Christmas, but it's kind of nice to think about Christmas. If you're going to do something big this Christmas, go ahead and get to know the Thompsons. Pop in there one day. Introduce yourself. Talk about your plans. They'll take all the time that you need to help you get that decision right. They don't want to rush you. They want you to be happy. If they rush you, you may get pushed into choosing something that's not quite right, and you're not going to come back. They know that because they've been in business for years and years, and this is 2 generations of family members that just have a lot of pride in just bringing that kind of happiness to people. And their diamonds are the same diamonds you can find all over the world, same prices, but you get that custom touch. You get that family touch, that custom work, the custom repair work, cleanings, resizings, all that stuff. Alan's going to put his hands on it. They do it right there in their shop, keep it in their vault, and get it right back to you. They don't have to ship things off to get things done. It's nice and safe. In Vestavia on Highway 31, Allen and Company. Back in a minute. Man, Hueytown Pawn. Tommy's over there slinging deals. You never know what you're going to find at Hueytown Pawn. Most of the time, we're going to talk about the gun counter because that was our entree to Hueytown Pawn. Is that massive gun counter that wraps around the whole backside and one side of the store of good deals on every kind of platform that you're interested in. I mean, day to day, Tommy's just always got good selection, great prices, brands you're going to know, and of course, since they're a pawn store, there's a lot of good buys on pre-owned stuff. Some people don't mind that. Guns are pretty durable if they've been maintained. You know what you're doing. You can pick up a deal on that stuff too. He's also got these Moore utility trailers made here in Alabama. Very well built. When you're that close to the manufacturer, it's always cool to have a product like that. And I like to support Alabama manufacturing. And these things are good looking and very useful. Single axle, open trailers, built-in ramps. Some of them have the 2-foot high sides on them, which Tommy tells me the people that do woodwork, like you're going out doing firewood and all that, we haul that stuff all over the place during the summer and the fall, getting ready for the wood burning season. Man, these are perfect for that. And that's why when he got them in the first time, y'all snapped them up, took them right out of there. And don't forget, they do offer financing if you want to. You always needed a little utility trailer to get some things done. Some of y'all just don't want to drive a truck all the time, but you get one of these trailers, and you got an even easier way to get stuff done. It is Hueytown Pawn. They're on Brook Lane Drive right there in the middle of, you guessed it, Hueytown. Tell Tommy and Adam and those guys I said, hello, Hueytown Pawn. I forgot to pay off on the HelloFresh thing. I did not know what this was about. Sometimes, AJ, I have to see it online 10 times before I stop and read the story. Mm-hmm. I don't care. What is HelloFresh? Some kind of
it's like a food delivery.
Food delivery company.
Yeah.
Well, it's Pride Month. So what would a food delivery company do that could be so controversial? Stick a little rainbow flag on their logo? Okay. Nobody even cares anymore. So what? They put out, I don't have it right in front of me. I should have saved it. I'll find it again in a minute. They put out a marketing thing on social media today. I don't even know how to put this. I'm trying to put this gently. And it encouraged people during Pride Month to shop HelloFresh because HelloFresh, I'm trying to Google it real quick, see if I can get it to pull up. HelloFresh has discounts. AJ, I'm trying to say this delicately. They have discounts on high fiber foods to help you get your colon ready for Pride Month. I ain't making that up. I went, this is not real. Did they do that? Oh, yeah.
Squeaky clean.
Yikes. Like you could eat off that thing. Look, it can whistle. Here's what they said. Here's the text. So people are dropping their HelloFresh app. So they do HelloFresh and whatever their little logo is. They, of course, put a rainbow. They put old Roy G. Biv up in there. And it says, we know eating isn't always the top priority this month. We respect that. But for those of you who are ... prepping ... we have an extensive lineup of high fiber recipes available. Happy Pride. Any of you lesbians want to describe that to me? Maybe it's something I'm missing. I never in a million years could have conceived there was prep involved. Hold on, I can't hear you, AJ. I don't hear you at all. Is your mic even on?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
It was not. I'm still in shock.
You know the button.
I was still in shock.
I threw AJ for a loop.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. If that was me on that marketing team, I probably would have came up with that. That would have been like an inside joke I would have came up with. I wouldn't think they would have ran with it, but.
So what is the discount on Metamucil?
Bottoms up.
Dude. Dude,